Have you ever felt as if everything in your life has become completely silent and wondered if God has abandoned you in the midst of your most difficult moment? What if that silence you feared was never absence, but a deeper spiritual message that you haven't yet been able to understand? Right now, this is a divine word for you, and it speaks directly to that feeling of confusion, waiting, and uncertainty. You may have wondered why God is silent, why prayers seem unanswered, and why nothing seems to change. But what if the truth is completely different from what you imagine? Keep this message in mind, because what you are about to hear may change how you understand the meaning of God's silence and the hidden purpose within it. You already know those moments when faith weakens and you question whether God is really acting in your life, and perhaps you've even thought, God hasn't abandoned me, but why do I feel like he's so distant? Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover may surprise you and bring clarity to what seemed like delay or rejection. This is not just a moment of reflection. It's a revelation about spiritual silence, about how God speaks in ways beyond human understanding, and how even when everything seems still, something powerful is being formed behind the scenes, guiding you towards what comes next. And if you feel that this silence is also happening in your life right now, perhaps this is the right time for you not only to listen, but also to participate in this message. If this topic resonates with you, leave a comment below about what has touched you the most so far, because your experience can help other people who are going through the same kind of spiritual silence and perhaps haven't yet understood what God is doing. And don't underestimate this simple gesture of commenting, because when you share what you feel, you not only express your faith, but you also strengthen a current of people who are seeking answers, hope, and direction in God. Likewise, if this message speaks to you, leave a like, because that helps this video reach more people who need to hear exactly this today. People who may be feeling forgotten, but who are actually being prepared. And if you feel in your heart that you want to continue receiving this kind of message, subscribe to the Divine Call channel, because that's precisely the intention here, to continue bringing spiritual messages that touch, awaken, and strengthen faith in moments of silence. Your participation here is what makes this channel grow and reach more lives with this type of content, and that transforms everything into something bigger than just a video. The silence you felt isn't just a lack of answers, but a profound process of inner transformation that often affects the mind, emotions, and even the decisions you're about to make in your life. In many cases, when everything seems at a standstill, it's precisely at this point that your mindset begins to be worked on invisibly, as if a hidden truth were being built behind the scenes of your own spiritual journey. You begin to question, to doubt, and even feel an emotional impact that seems to further confuse the path. But this doesn't mean abandonment, but rather a redirection that you can't yet see. What seems like rejection may actually be protection. What seems like delay may be preparation. And this state of uncertainty that you have experienced or are experiencing now is part of a larger process where your perception begins to slowly change, even without you realizing it. It is at this point that many people lose faith, because they only look at what is visible, without understanding that there is a construction happening behind the scenes of their story. When you understand how this silence acts in your life, you begin to realize that it is not empty, but full of direction, full of purpose, and full of adjustments that are shaping the next level of your spiritual journey. And this completely changes how you interpret everything that is happening around you. Comment below, "This makes sense to me." This understanding completely changes how you see your journey, because when you begin to realize that silence was never absence, but an invisible action happening behind the scenes of your life, everything takes on a new meaning. What seemed like stagnation begins to reveal a silent transformation process, where decisions are being adjusted, paths are being reorganized, and a hidden truth is being built in a way that you cannot yet see, but it is already in motion. It's as if, while you wait for answers, something much bigger is being prepared at the level of your story, shaping results that depend precisely on this time of silence. When you thought I was silent, I was working. This revelation changes your perception of everything, because it takes you out of a place of doubt and puts you in the understanding that there is a purpose even when there are no visible signs. This spiritual silence is not empty. It is full of construction, full of internal adjustments, and full of alignments that are part of a journey much greater than your immediate vision can grasp. Often, it is during this period that the greatest changes happen, not outside, but within you, preparing your mindset for something that requires maturity, faith, and clarity. What really happens in this invisible process is that you begin to realize that every detail of this silence is connected to a greater revelation that is about to manifest in your life in a way you may never have imagined. Write this down, I'm on this journey too. And when you begin to understand the spiritual dynamic, you realize that while everything seems still on the outside, there is a profound movement happening behind the scenes of your life, as if invisible doors are being opened without you being able to see them at the moment. This process doesn't depend on your anxiety or your haste. It's linked to a greater transformation that involves time, alignment, and decisions that are being adjusted silently. Often, what you call a delay is precisely the period where God is removing blockages, clearing paths that weren't meant for you, and connecting you with people and opportunities that are part of a new phase. There is a hidden truth in this process that is only revealed when you look with greater spiritual maturity. Nothing is standing still, everything is being reorganized. And while you try to understand why things haven't happened yet, something is already being prepared in another dimension of your journey, shaping the impact that will manifest at the right time. This opening of paths is not immediately visible, but it is real, and it happens precisely in silence, where faith is tested and mindset is strengthened. When you understand that these invisible doors are opening right now, you begin to realize that your story is being guided by a higher intelligence, working on the details, the encounters, and even the delays that you don't yet understand. Comment below, "This makes sense to me." And when you reach that point of understanding, something begins to shift within your perception, as if a spiritual turning point is being activated right now, in the middle of this journey you never imagined you were living. It's not just about waiting for answers, but about recognizing that there's a transformative movement happening at deeper levels of your life, affecting your mindset, your decisions, and even how you see the future. It's as if every detail that seemed confusing before slowly begins to fit into a greater truth that was hidden all along. Today is no ordinary day. It's a turning point, and this turning point doesn't depend on what you see, but on what's being built behind the scenes of your story. There's a silent force rearranging paths, adjusting encounters, and preparing opportunities that will mark a new phase in your journey. What once seemed stuck begins to move subtly, almost imperceptibly, but extremely powerfully, because it's part of an alignment process that cannot be interrupted. This turning point is not just emotional, but spiritual and strategic. You begin to realize that victory is not something distant, but something that is already in motion, even if it hasn't fully manifested yet. Write this down, I'm on this journey too. And when you begin to perceive this turning point happening within your journey, a deeper invitation also arises, one that is not only emotional but spiritual, to trust even when nothing yet makes complete sense. Because the truth is that faith is not based on what you see in the moment, but on the certainty that there is a greater process being conducted behind the scenes of your life, shaping every detail with purpose. Even when everything seems silent, there is an invisible movement adjusting paths, reorganizing situations, and strengthening you from within for something that is yet to be revealed. This process demands a trust that goes beyond logic, because it works precisely on what you still can't understand. It's as if each stage of the silence is preparing you for a new mindset, a new way of seeing decisions, and even a new perception of the impact of your own story. None of this is random. It's all part of a continuous construction where the waiting time is also part of the transformation. You understand that remaining steadfast is not just about resisting, but about growing while everything is still being formed. You begin to realize that silence was never absence, but a plan in execution that remains active even when you don't feel it. Comment below, "This makes sense to me." And if you've made it this far, perhaps this message wasn't just a video for you, but a profound reminder that even in silence, nothing is out of control and everything continues to be guided with purpose. If this resonated with your journey, consider subscribing to the channel, because here you'll continue to receive messages like this, which help strengthen faith, reorganize your mindset, and see what silence often tries to hide. Also, leave a like, because this isn't just a simple gesture. It helps this message reach other people who may be going through the same uncertainty and need to hear exactly this today. And if you really made it to the end, comment here, "This message was for me," because that shows you truly connected with this message throughout this journey. And before you leave, know that this journey doesn't end here. There's a video over there that deeply complements everything you've just understood, and it can help you see even more clearly how this spiritual process continues to work in your life. So click and continue with me there.